Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another Minecraft discussion. My name is Kimberly Quinn, and it is my pleasure on this glorious day to have a conversation about, what might even seem to be a magical way out of negative thinking. It's interesting because oftentimes I just see out in the world, and of course, once you're on the sort of the path of positivity, you get kind of, I don't know if it's sensitive is a word to it, but hyper vigilant maybe. You just can smell negativity and from miles away, and there's also like this invisible force field, just just really almost can't touch you. But the funny thing is that it gets comical sometimes. You get a prickly pears and they're whining, and I'm not talking about legitimate huge heavy life stuff happening. I'm talking about just the whiners and the complainers, like in the Peanuts cartoon with Snoop, like Snoopy and Charlie Brown, like that adult voice, "Wah, wah, 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 wah," right? And we've all heard those people. And often, because I get some of this with me sometimes, that happy, optimistic people, I think they find quite irritating. And so then they'll get, snarkier. And sometimes they'll act as if, whether it's myself or it's somebody else out in the world, they'll act like, so and so won the won the ticket, the winning ticket in the happiness lottery or something. That they're just no. I mean, that's not how it works. I mean, certainly genetics are involved in anything we're talking about, with human animals or non-human animals, of course. Although it's all about the thought process, right? Because thoughts come first and feelings second. So we're thinking grateful, abundant thoughts. We're feeling grateful and abundant, and there just isn't any room for snark and negativity and kind of pissy, whining, complaining stuff that's like, to me, is like air pollution. It's kind of like cigarette smoke. I want to, I actually have said it a couple times. I try not to, be so direct, but sometimes I can't help it. It's like one thing if somebody wants to wreck their lungs with cigarettes, and I don't want to judge that because people smoke for a reason. However, that is their choice. But I don't need to breathe it. Like, I don't want to breathe the secondhand smoke. Well, it's to me, it's like that with negativity. If you want to cloud your mind and use your life minutes in that way, letting them circle the drain, forever to be gone, that's your choice. But don't be leaking that negativity into my life minutes, that like battery acid, just no, thank you. So, I was in spin. This is the way I live my life anyway. And however, then I also was, I read voraciously, as I think my listeners know. And Rhonda Byrne, she's a hot ticket. She's the person who wrote The Secret, and she also wrote The Magic. And I was just kind of tooling through there to get ideas for newsletters and things like that. And I was re-inspired to talk about how gratitude is the key for all this snark and negativity, and the disease of complaining, which is just, it's just contagious. It's more like a cold, right? Chronic obstructive lung disease, cold. It's sort of like the emotional equivalent of that. It's just, stop sneezing on me, keep your germs to yourself, kind of thing. So Rhonda says, whether it's a relationship in turmoil, financial pressure, a lack of health, or problems in a job, negative situations arrive because of a lack of gratitude over a long period of time. It's true. It's just like when we do anything else over a long period of time, like you're a couch potato and things happen as consequences of that, or whatever you're doing, eating certain things over a long period of time, there's consequences to that. There's consequences to not thinking grateful thoughts. And then she goes on to say, if we are not grateful for each thing in our lives, we are unintentionally taking those things for granted. Taking things for granted is a major cause of negativity. I don't think most people get that. And this says, because we take, and she has taken italics, things for granted, we are not giving, also in italics, thanks in return. When we take things for granted, we are not giving thanks in return, and we stop the magic happening in our life. Amen, sister. Then she says, just as giving thanks to others will always lead to our life magically increasing, so must taking things for granted always lead to our life decreasing. And that is so true. And I've been doing a bunch of workshops lately. I've got one coming up with um, female high rollers in higher ed, and I can't wait for that. And we're going to talk about keeping ourselves filled up. And part of keeping ourselves filled up is counting our blessings each and every day. And call it what you want. the good things happening to you. To me, it's blessings because the more we count them, acknowledge them, feel them, appreciate them, the more the universe or higher power, to me it's God, higher power, universe, source with a capital S, whatever, is going to acknowledge that we are appreciating things and send more our way. Think about it. If we're not grateful for what we have, why would the universe send us more? It's like she doesn't even care what she has. It's kind of like a spoiled kid on Christmas that just has so many presents they don't care and they don't open them. So why send them more? It doesn't they're not appreciating them. The solution is not to give them more, right? That makes great sense. And then she says, "Are you grateful for your health when it's good, or do you only notice your health when your body gets sick or hurts?" That's important, really. Are you grateful for your job every day, or do you only value your job when you hear there will be cutbacks? Sting, wow, yes, we've got some of that going on, right now. Are you grateful for your pay or salary every single time you receive it, or do you take your pay or salary for granted? Are you grateful for your loved ones when everything is running smoothly, or do you only talk to others about your loved ones when there are problems? Are you grateful when your car is working well, or do you only think of your car when it breaks down? I have to tell you, all those, because I live my life in a very grateful way every day in every way to the best of my ability. Let's add the bar to your best, right? That car thing, I actually say that a lot. Thank you, thank you, thank you that the cars are all working. We live way out there, and we for a while we had the cars were all the same age too, and that's usually not good. When they're all the same age, they all go at once, and just constantly thank you, thank you, thank you, because we're out of ways, and it can be easy in this day and age to be kind of like immediately leveled, when the cars don't work. And then she says, "Are you grateful to be alive each day?" Yes, sister, I am. Or do you take your life for granted? Just so important. So I don't think people realize it. It's like, oh, it's touchy feely and keep a gratitude journal. I cannot say enough about the gratitude journal. It changes lives, not just my own. My students talk about it a lot. I've had students come back after their actually, in fact, I met a young man in the lift line at Stowe skiing, a former student. I heard, "Professor, professor." It was years ago. We rode up the chairlift together. He said, I'm still doing my gratitude journal. I think he got one. I think he got his mom to do it. Life changing, because after about 21 habits, geez, after about 21 days, a habit will shift and stick. And then what happens is we start to automatically see the good in our day without even much effort. And of course, we put in effort, it's even better. But it happens sort of automatically because the brain loves patterns so much. So if we're saying, "I am grateful," I do it for three things every day. I am grateful for, I am grateful for my husband making the fires in the morning. We are going to automatically see the positive in our lives from a cognitive perspective, and there's therefore less room for the negative Nelly thinking. And then Rhonda goes on to say, "Taking things for granted results in complaining, negative thoughts, and words." I'm just thinking at this moment how much complainers. I feel like somebody's sticking pins in my toes when somebody's complaining. And again, I mean, it's not like something or like a legit heavy duty something in life that needs, broken hearts that need, a family member, a best friend to be an active listener and with the compassion, empathy, and everything. No, that's a whole different thing. I'm talking about just the whiners, like, "Oh no, it's raining again on my day off." Oh, like there's a cloud conspiracy on your day off, as Loretta LaRoche should say. Just whining for the sake of taking up the air. It's just like the smokers, like I told you, secondhand smoke. She says, "So when you complain, by law of attraction, you must bring more things into your life to complain about." It's just like we were talking about with the word lack, right? When we have "I don't have this, I don't have that," like, Bring me more money. I want to make more money." That says I lack money. The only way to get money into your life is to be grateful for the money you already have, even if it's a dollar. If saying we want it is saying we lack it. So the whiners and complainers are actually actively attracting more things to whine and complain about, which is a little comical sometimes. In fact, I remember my friend Billy when we were at St. Mike's. Actually, no, it wasn't at St. Mike's. Sorry, it's my friend from St. Mike's. This was recent. This was like 4 or 5 years ago, and I've shared this story before. And he's a total good vibe. He was just funny. He was talking about this. bunch of whiners and complainers at his work, and he was saying the toxic trio, because there must have been 3 of them, and they were just like, "Wah, wah, 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 wah," like the Snoopy cartoon with the adult noise, "Wah, wah, 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 wah," and he's saying to me, he's like, "Kim, like," and I love my work, I've been there for years, and I just couldn't stand the 3 of them were just, like, just sucking the life out of the atmosphere, and he said, "So I said a prayer, and I said, 'God, please help me learn to deal with these challenging people, these difficult people.'" And he said to me, "Kim, what do you think God did?" And I said, "What, Billy?" And he said, "God sent me more challenging, difficult people." And he started to laugh, and I started to laugh, and like we belly laughed because it's how the universe works. Because the universe is responding to what your thoughts and feelings are. So if you're putting it out there, challenging, difficult people are taking up my consciousness, the universe says, "Oh, you must want more then." And here they come. So I thought that was pretty funny. And then Rhonda says, if you're complaining about the weather, the traffic, your boss, your spouse, your family, a friend, a stranger, waiting in lines, bills, the economy, the cost of something, or the service of a company, you are not being grateful and you're pushing your dream life further away with every complaint. See, because it's the opposite of having a heart filled with gratitude. Saying a heart filled with gratitude, there's no room for anxiety or depression or the disease of wanting, the whining or complaining. When your head and heart are filled with complaining thoughts and then complaining feelings and all that whining, there's no room for happiness and joy and living your best authentic life because you're just too full of the negative. And then she says, now you understand that complaining, negative thoughts, and words are taking things for granted. Stop, wait, start over. Now you understand that complaining, negative thoughts, and words, and taking things for granted stops the good things in your life. Now you understand that when something goes very wrong, you have unintentionally not been grateful enough. That is exactly it. So filling our hearts with gratitude, and it's so easy. And we can say it, saying it is good. I say it all day long in my head and write out loud in my Jeep. Also, though, the power of the word is the biggest deal. And if you can do a gratitude journal in the morning, I do. I mean, some people do it at night. I find it doing it right out of the gate is the best thing. But writing it down, it takes less than 1 minute. Literally, the microwave beeps with my hot tea before I'm done. I am grateful for, dad's banana bread. I am grateful for my partner. I'm grateful for my golden retriever. It done. And then I continue to say and affirm all day long. So Rhonda says it's impossible to be negative when you're grateful. They can't, it's like they, what do they say? Oil and water kind of thing. They don't, whining, negativity and gratitude just don't coexist well. They just don't. So she says it's impossible to be negative when you're grateful. It's impossible to criticize and blame when you're grateful. It's impossible to feel sad or have any negative feeling when you're grateful. And the best news is that if you have any negative situations in your life currently, it won't take a long period of time to transform these with gratitude. Oh my gosh, it is just so, so, so true. So here's the thing to remember, right? Minecraft is about becoming the boss of your brain. Thoughts come first, followed by feelings, and then behavior. So we can't feel negative feelings, sad and anxious and fearful and worried and mad and all these negative and jealous and envious and all these things if we're not having the thoughts of worry and sadness and jealousy and envy and anger and everything. If we don't have those thoughts first, we can't feel them. It's just how it works. Think about it. If you took someone's brain, you carved into their skull with kindness and anesthesia and put their brain up in a big bowl of formaldehyde on a shelf and then said ask what they're feeling. You don't have to really think about that too much because they're feeling nothing, right? It's all about the thoughts. The feelings cannot exist without the thoughts, even if it's a matter of milliseconds. So therefore, the logical thing to do is to not allow the thinking. And it does take effort like anything in life. It's just how it is. Nobody wins the happiness lottery. It's not how it works. And then Rhonda says, and just for today, see if you can get through one day without saying anything negative. I challenge you to do this. And then she says, it may be a challenge, but see if you can make it through one day. There is an important reason to do this because most of us have no idea how much we speak negatively, but you'll have an idea after watching your words for a day. Remember that negativity and complaint bring more of those things. And if you're aware of what you're saying, you can stop and decide if you want the consequences of what you're about to say. I love that, the consequences, because that's karma, right? That one thing leads to another. That's how it works, like dominoes. And even with Newton's, I think it's his third law, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So, and you reap what you sow. I mean, the cultures across the world are saying the same thing, just different ways, right? We reap what we sow. If you're sowing all kinds of negativity and secondhand smoke to innocent people that no desire in the world to hear you, spewing negativity and whining, then that's what you're gonna reap. That's what you're gonna bring back in. The opposite is true when we are spreading positivity all over the place to the best we can, and feeling grateful hearts, and just spreading all that goodness everywhere. More goodness, more abundance will come into your life, because the universe is noticing that you're appreciating the gifts that the universe, source, God, higher power, whatever, is sending to you. Therefore, the universe is going to respond to that and give you loads more abundance, which is infinite. Okay, that is it. The magical wand waving to get negativity out of your life for good. Yay, this is Kimberly Quinn signing off from Northern Vermont. Have a mindful and grateful day.